So hopefully it has saved today's webinar for those that were not able to make it. And again, I don't want to make this any longer than absolutely necessary, but we want to cover all of the agenda items. And again, today is our July 2016 coordinator meeting via GoToMeeting. And we are going to cover the following items on our meeting agenda. We will do a review of our VISM list that were sent to me. I did not get that many. For those of you that sent them to me, I appreciate it greatly. And want to take a look at what people are doing, what are some similar VISMs, also looking at what are the developmental areas that our VISMs are covering, and some other things we may want to think about that we may not have thought about in the VISMs that you select or how you arrange them for distribution for the year. The other item that we have on the agenda for today is recruitment. Again, I only got a handful of responses from that, but we'll talk about when, how, where, tools that people are using for recruitment. And I'm also going to show you, Hannah has put together this really great intranet site, and we talked about this at one of our previous coordinators meetings. I think it was when we were at El Centro, and we showed it to you. And so I've loaded a few of the documents that you all sent me on the intranet. And I think after the August meeting, we will probably make it live for you all to have access to the intranet as well. So, and Hannah and I still need to work through all that. Hello, Lena. How are you? Welcome to the meeting. And then also just to do an update on any of the coordinator training update, and that's coming up, the fall professional development, and any other announcements. And Hannah, I'm sorry, I forgot to write any United Way issues that you want to share today. Is that it? Does anyone else have any questions or concerns that we are not listed on the agenda? And we all need to participate, because it's just not, since I can't see your face nodding your head or shaking your head no, you have to talk.
You can put it.
Okay.
Nope. The meeting agenda looks good. I'm excited to learn more about how other people are recruiting and their VISMs too.
Okay. Thanks. And Marjorie, you said something, I didn't hear you well.
No, I'm so sorry, Pamela. Good morning. I just told you that we can use a video form, and I can see you, or you can see us, but I don't know how to do that.
You just hit your webcam, but I don't have mine on because I don't like being on the webcam. I know it's a bad thing. I've got to print that thing. But I actually combed my hair, so I am presentable. So I'll put it on for a quick second so you know I'm a live human being. And Marjorie, you can actually see me, but it won't stay on because this is recorded. So I'm going to put the webcam on. God bless me. Hopefully my background's not too atrocious. Okay. Because I'm in my house.
Thank you, Pam.
Okay, so here I am. See me? Hello. Can you?
Hi, Pam.
Not yet.
Hi.
Yes.
Here I am.
Hi, Pam.
You look wonderful.
So you now see me, Pamela Williams, in my home in Bremerton. So, okay. So I'm going to turn it off, but I wanted you to see that I'm really here. And I'm not in some island somewhere vacationing on this webinar, which would be lovely. Okay, that's it. So telecommuting is a lovely thing now. Okay, so let's get started. It is now 9:08, and we currently have Hannah, Analia, Lena, Lynn, Marjorie, and Alma is with Marjorie on the line too, correct?
Yes.
I think that was a yes, right?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. All right, and whoever pops in will go. So I sent this PowerPoint to you all. Now let's see if I can get this to... Okay. So you all see what VISM are you using? Can you see that?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. So what I tried to do, and Hannah and I talked about just how to go about this whole webinar. Hannah, please chime in anytime you want. And so just trying to figure out how to put this information together in a way that is palatable via a webinar. So thank you so much. I think I received VISM lists from Children's Home Society North. I received a VISM list from Lynn and Encompass. I received a VISM list from Kindring. I received a VISM list from Lena at the Y. And I received a VISM list from Janet from El Centro. And I believe that is it. So this is not very comprehensive, but it's still a really good start. I thank you so much for what you've done. And so what I just wanted to do is just to remind us, what is VISM? And so for Marjorie, you're brand new, and I know you've probably been hearing a lot of this from your team, but VISM, which the acronym is VISM, which means Verbal Interactive Stimulus Material. And the materials that we buy should do the following things for our families. And so I know it's redundant, but I think it's a good reminder when we are buying VISM that there's a checklist that came in your manual to help you select good VISM. But it's also just a nice way this is a quick and dirty way to make sure that the VISM is going to encourage your families to interact with each other. Parent and child is going to interact. That is going to build language and literacy. So are there new words, rare words that are being introduced to our 2- and 3-year-old children that they may not hear in everyday language with their families? And so we should be highlighting that new set of vocabulary so these children go to school with a rich vocabulary when they enter into preschool and going into K. That our books are enjoyable, that they increase the love of reading. So there should be different kinds of interests. One of the things that I think, and toys should be of interest to the children that we're serving. So they should be culturally appropriate. They should match and help children understand who they are as an individual. So there's a lot to do. And then it's also just making sure that the material prepares children for school success, because we say we are school readiness. And then on our website, we talk about that the books should be our picture books, high quality. Our toys should increase interaction with parents and children, and deal with issues of language and literacy, social and emotional development. Did I miss anything here? Everyone? Do you think I missed any area of coverage around VISM?
I don't think so. I think it's complete. Yeah.
Okay. So I wanted to just help us remember, and I think I bring this up all the time. Oh, these are just some pictures from some of you all, from some sites, and what VISM could look like. And it's not just a book. So the top picture is of one of the home visitors. It was at our spring professional development. I'm not sure what session. Was that yours, Lynn? Or was that Janet?
That was one I think Janet and I co-did together.
Okay. And so this was VISM based off an extension activity from a book that could be done. And so arts and craft activities at the bottom is actually from Lena's closing program. But Lena, do you remember what that activity was? I don't think. Your speaker's not on if you're talking, or are you typing? Lena? It was your graduation, and you were making masks at their stations. Okay, thank you. And then at the top is also from Lena's graduation. And so this is a gross motor activity. They had a bowling kit that they were doing. The other table below it is I think it was from Janet's Fiesta activity, I think also. And then the one at the bottom was a dental activity at the graduation in Yakima. And so they were highlighting dental health. And welcome, Nancy. Welcome. Nancy is our coordinator from Southwest Youth and Family Services. She's one of the three. And Nancy, welcome. And this is,
Thank you.
we have a new coordinator with us. It's Marjorie. Marjorie is from Kindering. And so I'm introducing her to some of the new coordinators. So if you can say hi in your microphone or type hi, that would be great.
Hi, Nancy.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, we can.
Hello? Oh, okay, good. Hi, Marjorie. Nice to
Hi,
meet you.
welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. So this is just examples of like VISM in action, or soon to be VISM in action. So one of the things that I wanted to remind us is that since we are school readiness, wait a minute, cancel. Once we are school readiness, since we are school readiness, that we should always remember that there's the childhood developmental domains that we should be trying to deal with, or how we can connect them with our VISM. So again, we've done this in our spring professional development. Multiple times we highlighted different areas, and so I just gave this to you as a way to remember when you're selecting your VISM, or how you're distributing it, or when you're doing your staff meetings, and then you're reflecting over what this VISM can enhance with a parent and child in their interaction. These are some areas that you can emphasize. And again, Alma's workshop that she did, and I think Hannah and Florida did the similar workshop on how you can reflect and prepare your home visitors in utilizing VISM. They did the sessions at the spring professional development is a great way, and I think she also has this. Right, Alma? You talk about this a little bit in your review of your VISM?
Yes.
Okay, great. And so the next one is how the national, if you go on their website and how they categorize it, again, they do bigger chunks, but they all match. They all fall within the early childhood domains. And so they have categories for books and toys. So they list different VISM on their website that you could possibly use. And again, it's not really for programs. It's for outsiders looking in to get a sense of what we do, but it's not, it's not where you have to use what's on that list on the website. Has anyone gone on our website, the national website, and taken a look at it?
Yes, I did. I do.
You did? Okay. Anybody else?
Mm-hmm. I have.
Yeah. So again, the one thing that I think is lacking is a representation of books of other cultures. The only culture that is represented in that spiral of books is primarily Spanish. And so I know Michelle, not Michelle Morrison, but Michelle I was asking for representation of other languages and other books. And so if you have a book that, like, even Handa's, I think it's Handa's Surprise, is not on there. So if you have any other books that you use in your program that you think are really great for families that you serve, even if it is Spanish, but again, for our Somali families, for some of our other cultures that we serve, and you may have a particular book that's really good for them. We don't have Chinese Information Service on the line, but for some of them, for some of their books, maybe in Mandarin or some of the other Asian languages, we may want to highlight that, because a lot of the other sites across the country are looking for suggestions as well. Any questions? Is this format flowing okay for everybody?
Yep, it's good.
Okay.
Yeah, I like having it written out like that.
Okay, great. And I sent it to you because I think it's just a nice tool to have as a reference if you don't have it already. Okay, and so this is just my way of showing you how some VISMs and where they could possibly fall. The nice thing is a lot of the VISM fall over multiple areas, and you just decide how you want to highlight it based on your program and where you're going this year. So again, most of you have probably used this Cutting Food from Melissa and Doug or some version. I like this one because it can be not just fine motor, but it can be math. It can be social emotional. It can fall into a lot of domains. So again, and then Please Baby Please is a book that I know Atlantic Street loves to use. And again, this is just another way that it falls into social emotional, but it can also be a couple other domains. Again, we all have alphabet something, whether it's magnets, if it's, puzzles or a whole bunch of things. And we'll look at that when we go over everybody's stuff. So language literacy, vocabulary, alphabet. And then I added the non-English language, which was a little quirky. I threw it there, but non-English language can go into every single domain, but I just put it there. So again, this is just a bigger, broad overview and just trying to pull everything together. Again, cognitive and general knowledge. And so again, I have handed surprise here. And that's math. It could be a math activity. It can be social studies. It can be a lot of different things. Then you have approaches to learning, which mostly everybody has once done a doctor's kit or a dentist kit or something like that, which I highly suggest if it's not on your VISM list and you have room to add it. And again, this can also fall under health, imaginary play, really great tool. The video that everybody sees when you go through the training is the little boy with the doctor's kit. So, it's one of those great tools. And then everybody's favorite book, The Very Hungry Caterpillar. And there's so many things you can do with this book around science, life science. So that's that. Any other questions so far? No?
No.
And then also one of the things that I think, I don't know how many of you do this, and this is now, I'm going to lead this for a conversation, but having books around special circumstances. I know some of you use the extra lending library that Sakithia provides you to maybe deal with this, but how many of you added into your VISM? I did see teeth are not for biting, but how many of you have had to added a potty training book in your VISM, or a book to prepare children for going into preschool, or a book that talks about I'm getting a new sibling, like mommy's pregnant, or there's just a new member of the household. So does anyone do that? I didn't see a lot of it in the list that came.
We don't have one, but I like the look of this Maisie Goes to Preschool one, because a lot of the books are more like kids going to kindergarten instead of a preschool setting.
Okay. Okay, so I see somebody wrote, in the past, this is Lena, hands are not for hitting, and last year we used Llama Llama, Mrs. Mama. So, okay, so mom went away, Lena? I don't know that book. Does anyone know Llama Llama, Mrs. Mama? Outside of Lena?
We've used that one. Mm-hmm.
Okay, what is it about?
When he goes to preschool.
Okay, great.
Or I'm assuming it's preschool.
Okay. And so one of the things that I think we have a power in, just in the materials that we use as we model for families, how they should do some of these same things with their children. So one of the things you always hear me asking is transition. And it's a big, big thing for little people to make transitions. It's hard. It's a really hard thing to move from one to another, one setting to another setting, one group of people to another group of people. And so I think a lot of that we could help in that, even in the VISM that we select. So when you are going on a big break, is a VISM that you're using or an extension activity that you're providing helping prepare that child for that gap? Or at the end of program 1 that they're going to have summer. And so you're not going to be around, but what summer may look like. And it's a little harder because our Northwest summers are not necessarily represented in a lot of children's books, but still the whole idea of summer. And then as your children are ending program 2, are you preparing them for the next step? And even the parents mentally that the next step should be preschool. So you can do that with your VISM. So has any of you intentionally done that or have thought about making sure you intentionally do that? So this is really requiring interaction. I can't see you. Okay, Margie, what did you say?
Oh, that we have, for example, the spot go to school.
Mm-hmm.
That's one. Yeah.
Okay. Nancy, what about you?
Yeah, this year actually we used a book called The Night Before Preschool as our very last book.
Oh, great.
It's kind of for preschool, but there's another one called The Night Before Kindergarten that was really good too.
Okay.
We'll use it next year.
Okay. Yeah, so I just think these are really good things that we can do to really help. And it's a nice way to model parents to help them recognize that their children struggle. Some children really struggle with transition, and there are ways that they can go about doing that. So what I did was I tried to pull together your VISM, and I tried to pull the big themes of the developmental domains and try to look at where they set. So, and then we can do it as a group. I can pull up the Excel spreadsheet that does it. So here, I just took the VISM one, and this is only a small segment because the whole big thing couldn't fit on here, but I'll pull it up. Again, so I alphabetized everybody's book, and on the Excel spreadsheet, I put asterisks by the books that, and toys that multiple sites chose. So I think I did a good job of doing it. I hope I did a good job. So again, so Are You My Mother? I just marked that as a book that could support social and emotional development. Big board, first 100 words is literacy and language. It could go somewhere else. Brown Bear, I just did cognitive and general knowledge. Buenos Noches Gorilla, again that. Chicka Chicka Boom Boom, approaches to learning, which is around math. And then I didn't do the other ones, and I figured we could do that as a group today. What do you all think? I have a spreadsheet, and we can play around with it. Do y'all want to do that later on?
Sure. I like the idea of categorizing them just for future staff meetings. My staff often asks questions about kind of those 5 domains and what would fall underneath them. And so I think this would be a good exercise to do at a later staff meeting with our own list and have them categorize them and go through the process of that to see how they got it right or wrong or why.
Okay. That's a good one. So that's Lynn. Anybody else?
I think it's a great idea. In each meeting, we try to make emphasis in the different domains, but this is a good way to have a big picture of covering all the domains that are required. Yeah.
Okay. All right, and so
I just want to add, I think, Pam, also this is helpful too when talking with parents as well, like about each VISM, and just kind of highlighting for the home visitors as well how to communicate, when you're bringing a book or a toy, what areas that they can kind of feel like they're focusing on for that day.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. I wish somebody was on from Children's Home Society, because I think their plus program, even though that's a little bit different, but they are very specific about introducing VISM, and they're going to cover it at one of our staff meetings. But I think, being intentional in our work is really helpful to the staff and to families. It's very empowering. So then the same way I did with toys. And so you can do the same thing. And this is everybody's toys list. Again, this is just an abbreviated, very abbreviated segment. And again, I just started doing that same idea. And since I didn't really know the toys and I had a chance to interact, I just guessed. So that's it for VISM. So in regards to that, I can exit this PowerPoint and we can do the activity, or we can talk about recruitment and tools and then go back. So I need to know what you all want to do.
Maybe just stay on the VISM since we're on it now, and then do recruitment as a, separate activity and not have to come back to VISMs.
Okay. That's Lynn. Anybody else?
That's okay.
I agree with Lynn.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to exit this PowerPoint. And let's now, here is can you see my screen with the Excel spreadsheet? Okay. So here are the all of the Program 1 books that everybody sent, and I didn't. I'm sorry, and I will load this on the intranet because I forgot to asterisk which books are on multiple sites. So like on this one, you can see like the geometric stacker, which is wrong. I got to double check. It's the nesting blocks that has multiple sites. And some, I think I made a boo-boo here. I have to clean it up. The ones that have multiple sites are using it. So there's the asterisk beside it to let you know that like if it's 2 asterisks, that means 2 or more programs have used that. If it's just 1 asterisk, is one other program. And again, this is just a small sampling of people who sent their stuff. So I don't know what all the other agencies are doing, but for those of you that sent it, this is what's represented. Does that make sense?
Yep.
And you said, Pamela, how are you getting this to us?
I'm going to put it on I can actually send this via email, but my goal was once it was clean to put it on the intranet. And I'll show you that today too.
Okay.
And then I'm wondering if, I know in the past, Nikisa had helped compile a list of the various vendors, and I'm just wondering if folks would be interested if there were any updates or if you're using a new vendor for any of these of them. If you would like to share that, I can make sure that we keep that up to date and available on the intranet as well.
Yeah,
that sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, and what we should probably do is just add the nationals list on there as well, because a lot of the ones people are using are the ones that are part of the national actually learn stuff from you all. Go Washington. So
great.
All right, so let's just take a look at Program 1 books, and we can do a few together, and then I will send this to you, and you can do this on your own with your thing. Does that make sense?
Yep.
And the ones that are bold are new for a program. So it's not necessarily new altogether, but they marked it on their list as new. Some people highlighted it in yellow, but for this, it made it easier if I just bolded it. So let's just take a look at Color Our World. Where do you think this should go? I don't know that book.
I don't know that book either.
I never heard about that book.
All right. It's about colors we're using. Okay, Lena, so where would you think that should go? Is that and it talks about other countries. Oh, okay. That sounds really interesting. We should do a fair. Cognitive in general. Okay. All right. And then Cows Can't Jump.
We used that one, and it was a favorite of the kids that I saw, and I would put it under physical development and health in large part because the book talks about how cows can't jump, but all these other animals can do other things like slither or wallow or leap or fly. Okay. And so my kids would act out each one of the animal motions. Okay. Yeah, that book got a lot of mixed reviews. Some people loved it, some people hated it. But it's on sale. They gave the National a really good discount. I think it was listed in the current newsletter. So you can take a look at the newsletter that just went out, and I think they marked the price down really, really low. So I don't know, de la cabeza a los pies. Did I say that right, Alma? or Analia?
Yes, you did. You got it.
What does it mean? What does it mean? And where does it go?
Is it pumpkin pies? Yeah, it's in physical development. You mean physical development?
Physical development? Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Dear Zoo, this is when we just did our zoo trip, this would be a great book to connect to that. And that would go where?
Maybe language.
Language? Okay.
And literacy.
Okay. And ¿dónde está Spot?
Maybe
what is
think of
called is emotional development.
Social emotional. Everybody agree with that? I heard somebody else chime in.
I was thinking cognitive and general knowledge.
Okay, so it could probably go under both, and you decide how you want to focus it, or when you talk about your staff meeting, where you all, did I do that right? Yeah, where we want to do. So I think we don't have to, because there's too many. There's 53. Do you want to go through more, or do you want to do toys? We can do program one.
Toys.
All right. So this is an exercise that you can do for your team. I think it's a great idea. And this is a great way you can pull the VISM out. It's another way to do your staff meetings. But you get a chance to see what everyone is using. And again, a lot of your books are almost exactly the same. A lot of Eric Carle. There's a couple touch and feel books, number books. But again, I'm not sure about, just thinking about special occasions, transitions, or whatever. Just take a look at your own individual list and see where that falls. So let's go to toys. So here we go. A lot of ABC, an alphabet. I started off with that. Who's doing monster bowling? I'll let it. Are they animal bowlers? Like the balls are animals?
We kindling.
Kindling?
We are doing that, and it's great.
Okay. And so what is that? Is it like, are the bowling, the pins monsters?
Yeah, this is more shape like a monster for the bowling, and the ball even is a monster also.
Oh, okay.
There's a lot of description, colors, and physical also, because they are throwing pulling the ball and making turns. There's many things to learn with that.
Okay. All right. And Lena said they have a different one too. Okay. So let's start with numbers. Go ahead, Lynn.
I was just going to say number 12 is one we use, which is another one. Kind of the same thing. It's just different animals and a bowling ball, but it's the same bowling game.
Okay. So it looks like a lot of you are doing bowling. So number 4, number 12, number 13 are all bowling activities. So bowling sets. And I think that's a great one because you can do so many things. It is a gross motor activity, but it's also math. There's so many things you can do with that. So, okay. All right. So let's do band in a box. I like that one. Is that yours, Lynn?
Yep. We've done that one for years, and our home visitors love it. Our families love it. There's enough instruments in there that if there's siblings, everybody can have one. It just continues to be successful every year.
And how much does that cost?
I want to say because it's from Melissa and Doug, so they give us a 50% discount.
Mm-hmm.
So my guess is it's about $15. It might not even be quite that high.
Okay.
It might be, but probably somewhere between 12 and 15. But the instruments are really nice. They're hardy and sturdy. And you get a lot of them. I want to say there's like 6 instruments in there. All
right. Lena just said she thinks it's $12. Okay. All right.
Yeah, it's not very much.
Okay. And how much do you all spend on average for your VISM around, like for toys?
We spend around $10 on each VISM.
10.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mine's probably something similar, 10 or 12. We have a couple that are higher that we kind of splurge on, and then we have a few that are lower, but that's probably average.
Yeah. And do you all have like a strategy for your VISM? So like, for instance, I used to give more the same, try to average it under 10 as much as possible. Okay. So what I used to do in, Marjorie, I used to run a PCHP program in Philadelphia. So when I refer to what I did, that's what my referencing. I used to do the cheaper stuff at the beginning so that if I lost families, I didn't spend a lot of money on the item. And then the longer the family was in the program, the more expensive the items got. That was part of my rationale. So I would never give a really expensive book or toy before like VISM 7. Does anyone else have anyone else do anything like that?
We don't. I kind of, because we, struggle to keep families enrolled, we kind of sprinkle them throughout, so that there's always a nice surprise coming. And we definitely give something pretty impressive at the very beginning, not necessarily the first week or two, but we just want them to know that there's, going to be quality products throughout.
Oh, yeah. Oh, please don't think I'm talking not quality. I'm just talking price point. So I was not going to give my $15 hardback book in Vism 2 or Vism 3. That was just not happening. That was my $5, $3 book that I got really inexpensive, but it's a high quality book that I got via one of my vendors that didn't cost me a lot of money. So that's just one way I thought I handled mine, but I was giving out a lot of material, so it's all relative, but I just didn't want to. We lost families. We started looking at like when families dropped out, and most families, if they were going to stick, they stayed past Vism 7. And if they didn't stay, they dropped out before then. So we knew not to invest a whole lot of our dollars, because those are the films you had to buy over and over and over and over again, because you're always starting over. So that was just one of my things. Anybody else? Hannah, when you did yours, did you have any kind of rationale around that way? Did you find you spent more money on your first couple of Vism? Or did your families just do?
I don't think that we necessarily thought about that way as far as expending, but with the activities that we did have, we by the end had 3 activities, and we tried to spread those out and kind of think about as well, like certain Visms that went well together, just that it made sense kind of theme-wise.
Yeah. Yeah. I try to do that too. So we'll keep going on this, but it's just something to think about. I don't know. I think we just had, for sometimes we lost families. The ones that couldn't handle it, we lost like by Vism. We knew if they last past 7, we can invest a lot of dollars, but like the dropout was normally by Vism 3 or 4, and we were spending a lot of money on those first couple of Vism because we had to refill those slots. So that's just something to think about. All right, so let's go band in a box. Where does that go? Okay, so Margie said we're looking at developmental women. I lost that blurb. What did it say? We're looking at developmental appropriateness because we're getting some very young kids. Okay, that's true. Exactly. That's a hard one when your babies are younger and younger, trying to find the right Vism for them. So, but you just find something that could grow, because, you can always refer back to it and it can do other things. Anybody else have that issue or make sure they're focusing that way?
Can you repeat that, Pam?
Sure. She was saying, Marjorie at Kindering said, we are also looking at developmental appropriateness because we're getting some very young children.
Yeah.
So we moved some of our Vism that we had done early in year 1 to closer to the end of year 1, because we have more 16 and 17-month-olds.
Okay.
So we're just moving some stuff around.
Yeah. I found that too. Okay, so let's keep going on this one. Band in a box. Where does it go?
Approaches to learning has music listed under it.
Okay. Beginning pattern blocks.
That was one I did from Melissa and Doug, and it has about 30 wooden shapes and then about 5 double-sided boards. And so I put that under cognitive and general knowledge because it's mainly a puzzle.
Okay.
And it would have a picture of something like a fish and the fish's body. You could put an oval in and that kind of thing.
All right, I'm going to skip 9. And Mr. Potato Head. I know that's the wise. Anybody else use Mr. Potato Head?
No, we don't.
Okay. And where do you think this would go, Miss Lena? Are you typing? Okay. Okay, so it's body parts. So language, since it's working on body parts, it could be language or physical development as well, but I'll put it under language. If you have new words, yeah, use it or physical. Okay. So I'll do your first one because there's a lot of new vocabulary in that one. Let's skip down to the Play-Doh activity, number 21. Where would that go?
I think it's physical because it promote the fine motors.
Okay.
And also cognitive. I think also it's social and emotional because children concentrate, they have a specific, they want to mirror sometimes what you are doing, and they can manage frustration. We can see how well they manage frustration with Play-Doh.
That's a great approach to that. I didn't think of that. That's really good. Yes. So again, when you introduce it to your team, you have these great discussions around how these business, and they can fall over multiple domains. All right, so let's go to P2 books. And I didn't do any of this. So let's just start with, I'm going to start with number 6. Best word book ever. Who's using that?
I don't.
We use it here.
And where do you think that falls, Nancy?
Probably more than one place. I would think maybe language and literacy.
Okay.
Social, maybe.
And what is that book about?
There's just a bunch of different things in it, actually. I mean,
okay.
It's based on that happens in the real world. I mean.
Okay.
There's just like everything in there. ABCs, counting.
Okay.
It labels everything too.
All right.
It helps the parents.
Okay. And you can see number 10, Brown Bear is in program 1 and in program 2. And somebody has a bookmaking activity, and I had it under books, but I wasn't sure if that was considered a toy or a book. So I left it under books. Does anyone know who that is? That's number 9.
That was like kindering, and so we provided a blank board book along with some markers, and I think some visitors could like take photos prior and do cut and paste. I think we also had provided scissors and glue.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was really an activity, but it was around literacy because obviously the child's making their own book, and you could go with it however they wanted to do with it.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I wasn't quite sure yet because whether it was a book or a toy, so I left it in the book area. But I can move it to the toy. All right, and so even with that, where would that go? Even if it was a toy, where would this go?
I think it's still definitely language and literacy and exploring and learning about books.
Okay. All righty, and let's go with Chicka Chicka Boom Boom or Chicka Chicka ABC. I don't know that one. I've probably seen it, I just don't remember it. So hi Emily. So Chicka Chicka ABC. Where would that go?
I think it's language.
Language?
Language and literacy. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it's introduced the alphabet.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's Chicka Chicka Boom Boom. I don't know about ABC. I'm sorry.
Okay. Well, they're probably both in that same realm. And how about Curious George goes to? Let me skip that one. From head to toe. That's number 22.
Well, that is a great book to do motor activities.
Okay. So, physical development?
Yes.
Okay. And hand us, well, I did that on the cover. Helping hands cook it. That's number 27. And let me put them back up. Where should that go?
Approaches to learn.
Approaches to learning. Oh, what number was that again? Cook it.
I had to go back to where I was.
Okay. So again, this is also a great way when you do this, you can see if you are covering all of the domains in your materials. So again, it's not required, but it's just a great way if you're leaning to one area or another, or if you're being, like a holistic approach in your BISM material. So let's just do P2 toys. We'll do a couple more of those, and then we'll move forward, and we can share. Again, Band in the Box is in Program 1 and in Program 2. So let's do number 7, Animal Memory Game.
Cognitive.
Cognitive.
Huh?
Okay. Let's go down to number 18, Dot Makers and Paper Plate. That was actually an activity I think Lynn did at the Spring PD.
Yeah, I would put that under approaches to learning with art. It's also great for physical development for fine motor.
Okay. All right.
And a lot of the kids did masks and stuff, so it's one of those ones that could fit so many places because depending on their mask, it could be social and emotional development also.
Okay. All right. And again, as Hannah said earlier, this is a great way to have conversations with parents so that, these are things that when you talk to them about why we're doing the things that we're doing, they can understand it. So you can always tell parents it's multiple, but again, just focusing on an area and saying that it can do many things. How about the number 23, the Garden Project? What is that?
We do that. We have the parent and child. They each get a pot and they decorate it. And then on the review visit, we bring out dirt and seeds and they plant a plant.
Oh, that's really nice. I like that.
Yeah, it's really popular.
And where would that go?
And it would probably approaches to learning and maybe cognitive.
Okay.
And fine motor too, because they're painting also.
Okay.
I don't know if we're supposed to pick one.
Well, I just put it in one for now, but when you all do it however it works for you and your team. But it's a great way for people to see how one activity can do so many things. And I always believe that our work should grow with children. And you can show parents how maybe they can't do it all now, and we're not expecting them to do it now, but when they get older, they can do something different with it. So, for instance, Marjorie was talking about they're dealing with very young children, so you're going to see this. Well, we all see this huge growth spurt, and maybe something they couldn't do at the beginning of Program 1 with one VISM, they can do something different with that same VISM at the end of Program 1, and something, of course, completely different at the end of Program 2, but it's still the same material. So and then you talk about like maybe when they're little, that fine motor skill is going to be really difficult, or to draw something, but by the time they end the program too, it's going to be a completely different experience. Alrighty, and let's do one more on here, and let's do ship shapes, number 43. Where would that go? And whose is that? Oh man, you are all talking all at the same time. I can't stop. Lena, it's yours, cognitive. Okay, it's math and shapes. All right. Thank you. All righty. So, oh, I'm almost hung up on you all. All right. So, so this is something that you can do. I will load all of this onto our intranet, and let me just show you now. This is the intranet that Hannah has put together for everybody, for all of us, and she and I are going to work on this, and we'll make it go live. What, probably by the beginning of September, Hannah? You think? Hello?
Sorry, it took me a while to get off mute. Yes, I think that would be fine. A lot of it's dependent on receiving the documents from all the coordinators.
Okay.
So it'll be what everyone wants to make it, and what they feel like they want to share with each other. And then some things obviously Pam and I will put in from what Pam's created, and things from National and United Way we can post things as well. And I think we're going to start with us managing what goes up there. So likely, just as for this meeting, we'll just do a request and have you email documents to us at first.
Okay. So just what she said, I've loaded the sites that sent me their VISM lists. And so you can see here. So Children's Home Society North list is here, El Centro's list, Encompasses, and the Y. So when you click on it, there you go. So this is their list of books and toys, or for Program 1 and Program 2. So again, whatever you want to have available to share with your colleagues, you can send to us and we will load it. So Lena put hers on an Excel spreadsheet. So hers will look a little differently, but this is hers, and it's a PDF. I don't know why I print like that, but that's her document. I could probably clean it up. So I think I have it on the wrong landscape. Wrong way of putting it. So, and I will add the spreadsheet. I'll add this template there, and you can use that if you want. Download it and use it for your staff meetings. Does that sound like something you would want on there?
Yeah, it does. That looks really exciting. I'm excited for that to go live. As you were scrolling past it, I was looking at all the different tabs and info, and I think that's going to be so helpful for us.
Yeah. So again, these are the documents that we are just thinking about putting in here, and it's really going to be responsive to all of you, and it's only as good as what you send us. So if you don't send us anything, it's not going to be as rich and as it could possibly be. And also, we'll start trying to keep the calendar. Hannah has posted some stuff on here already. It's taking a minute to load. Okay, so you see how today is our coordinators meeting. She's put things on here, what's going on around with all the programs. We'll put on there. We have the directory of staff. So it's your information. So you can, if you're looking to contact one of your colleagues, here's their information. You can find them and contact them. So if anything changes, you would need to let us know. Well, you'll let Hannah know anyway, and let me know, and we can always do that. We haven't talked more about the discussion board yet, Hannah, but we'll probably go over this again in August. You think that's a good idea, Hannah?
Yeah, that sounds great.
Okay. So that is where we are in regards to our VISM review. Does anyone have any other questions around the VISM list? If you haven't submitted yours and you want it to be added to the comprehensive list, you need to send it to me. Okay, but once I move on, I'm going to move on. Okay. All right. So I want to welcome to the group. Okay, so we have Annie has joined us. Hi, Annie. Hi, Ayan. Hi, Emily. Hi, Janet. We have a new coordinator with us out of Kindering. Her name is Marjorie, and she has just joined our team, I think, the beginning of July. And so you'll get a chance. No, Ayan, I can't make you a presenter. You can put your audio on, and you can speak to the group if you would.
I was just saying hi. I didn't know. I thought it would give a typo. Sorry. I'm like, what? Should I say that?
That is okay, Ayan. How are you, doll? I hope all of you have had a great summer so far and has done something for you. So we had a great time at the zoo. We missed those of you that weren't with us, but I think we had a really good time. I hope the stuff that I sent out was useful. But I think it was a really, really great afternoon. And thank you again, oh my gosh, Elisa, for making sure that happened for us. So again, so now we're going to move on. I'm going to skip recruitment because I'm going to leave that for the end. I'm just going to go to the new coordinators training. And here is the flyer. You should have all gotten this in the email. There are new dates, August 23rd, 24th, and 26th. It's not the 25th because that's a coordinators meeting. And it's going to be here in Bremerton. So if you have not registered already, please do so. If you would like to be part of the team as a refresher, you still need to contact me to let me know that you would like to be a part of that. There is no fee for a refresher if you've been fully trained and got your certificate. But if you are new and need to be trained, there are fees associated with that, and you need to fill out an application. So if there's someone in your office, a new manager or someone that needs to understand PCHP, this is a great opportunity for them to come and also to bond with brand new staff. So let me know if you have any questions. My number is at the bottom. And if you have my other numbers, they'll all get to me. But this is my new Google phone number. And you are required to register by Monday, which is my birthday. So,
Yay! Happy birthday!
Thank you. I'm not actually working that day, but you need to contact and send an email to me, and I will get back to you on Tuesday. Okay? And then...
Okay. Do you hear me?
Yeah. Thank you. I'm going to be 25 for the 10th time now. I wish it was just that many times. I have to add that up a lot of times. All righty. And then our fall PD is scheduled for September
22nd.
28th. Oh, I'm sorry. Wrong day, wrong month. 22nd, whoever said that. Yes, you are correct. And Hannah and I are still working on location. Correct, Miss Hannah? I'm waiting for her to hit her.
Yes, sorry. Yes, that's
okay.
Correct.
You got to stay with me. Okay, thank you.
Sorry about that.
So we'll get back to you on that. So just make sure it's a full day. We have some really great people who are scheduled to be there. And so we're going to look at dealing with some early experiences, looking at early trauma, and how they affected the brain development, and so how we can begin to use our work to support that, or not support the trauma, but to deal with the trauma of our children. So Hannah has got some really great people, and we've been talking about some really great people coming to present to our group. So if you have any concerns or questions or comments or suggestions, please let us know ASAP.
Okay. Yeah, and I'd love if anyone has a suggestion for a presenter or someone they've seen speak before, or somebody at your own agency who you have a contact with. I'd love to hear from you, and I can reach out to them. So keep that in mind.
Okay. And I don't have a cultural person again, or like a cultural group to present. If we want to continue that, we want to try something different this year, I need suggestions for that as well. So want to keep it enriching, and I don't want people to expect the same thing all the time. So let's mix it up. So. Okay. Any questions, comments? Does anyone need to do a potty break? Do you want to take 5 minutes to go to the bathroom or anything?
I'm good.
Everybody's okay? All right.
Yes.
All right. So the next thing is we're going to go to recruitment. And all right. So again, I didn't get a lot of feedback on this. Thank you for those of you who did. I really appreciate that. So this is going to require us talking as a group via this webinar, because I did not get a lot of information, and we said we wanted to share, but the sharing is only as rich as those who share. So what we're going to do is talk about what tools you use. Okay. What are some of the tools that you use to go and get families and let people know about your program? So I have here a video that is used in Southwest. I took that from the internet. And then I couldn't find any pictures of us doing door to door. And then this is a door knocker that I made up. Sometimes I had door knockers when we had our program. But I think we ran into some issues because you weren't allowed to, because we weren't the postman. But so that's that. So let's talk about, what do you do? What tools do you use to recruit? How do you go about getting families? Somebody's talking, but they're really far away, so we can't hear you. Is someone sharing with the group? Because I can't hear you. Is anyone saying anything at all? Okay, you need to. Annalia, you can't hear? I can't hear either. So why don't we just do a roll call on this? I'm actually gonna call you out. So Annie or Southwest, can you tell us what are some of the tools that you use?
We use our existing families, graduating families. We always ask them if they have friends or neighbors or nieces or nephews that would like to be in the program. You have others. We go to the parks. We lurk around the parks in the summertime. And we put up flyers at the local food banks and community centers.
Okay, so can I just ask just a clarifying question? When you say you lurk at the parks, what do you do when they're at the park? So do you hand them a flyer? Do you just have a face-to-face conversation? What do you do?
Face-to-face conversation, and if they seem interested, we find flyers and stuff just end up sitting in somebody's recycle bin.
Okay.
So we'll just fill out an intake form while we're at the park if they seem interested. Yeah. Okay. All right. Put their name and phone number and the age of their child.
Okay. And so is your intake form, how many questions are in your intake form? Do you have your own private small quick and dirty, making sure they're age eligible and things like that? What do you use on your intake?
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. That's all we do. We get the names, the language, the age of the child, and on the intake form it has all that. So.
Okay. All right. And then when you use that same form when you go to the food banks and things like that, is it just more of just like talking to people? How do you go about doing that?
Food bank, and those are flyers where people pull off our phone number and call us.
Okay. All right. And who do you talk to get in the food bank? Do you have a contact person that you need to get permission?
So we just go in to them. We usually have a board that you can hang stuff at, and then at some of the local restaurants, not restaurants, but like takeout food places and stuff, they'll let us hang stuff. So, like, especially in the Latino community.
Okay. And so are all your flyers translated?
Spanish and English. We don't have them in Somali or Arabic.
Okay. Okay. All right. I think that's it. All right. Okay. Thanks, Annie. So, Children's Home Society, Ayan, Emily, what do you guys do?
I do some tables at like the food bank, where we're actually there kind of at the entrance talking to families. We put up flyers, the same stuff that Annie had said, and then try and connect partnerships with, WIC and Nurse Family Partnership to try and get referrals from them.
Okay. Can I ask you, so for WIC, how do you get in? Because I know some sites have been kicked out of their WIC offices. So how did you get in and how do you stay in?
We have a WIC office at our family center, and there's also a WIC office at the Center for Human Services, who we partner with in Shoreline around a lot of things. So we are able to connect with families through those two.
Okay, so you are connected with them for more than just PCHP. So you're able to then.
Correct.
Okay. All right. All right. Okay. All right, and then all right. So okay, I may come back and ask people. So Janet at El Centro, how do you get your families?
Similar to what everyone's been saying. We have, in addition to that, just being referred from our families, our current families, and our food bank that's in-house. We have about 2 to 3 other early learning programs that start as of really early, like infants from 0 to 2 years. So once they're in that program, they kind of continue on into being referred over to our program if they qualify and if they're in the area. And the same thing with our preschool. We have a lot of preschool classes, and a lot of those families have little ones, so they make sure that they get referred our way.
Okay. All right. And Ms. Lena, what do you do at the Y? And I think she has to type hers. So while you type, Lena, I'll go to somebody else, but type your answer, then I'll read it. Kendering?
We have a lot of the same strategies people have already mentioned. I would say another thing that we have done is find community events where a lot of young families will be attending and do tabling at those events, and have had some success with that. That would be one strategy that hasn't been mentioned yet.
Okay, so what are some of the events that you go to?
Will you mention some?
Yeah, we go to fairs, different agencies, events, like family nights, for example, in the schools, or
the Strawberry Festival you just did?
Yeah, festivals, that's fairs, festivals, and we go to the schools and different programs also, and agencies like, or we can go to WIC, for example.
Right. So, Okay, so but for the fairs and things like that, how do you get in? How do you get a table? Who do you reach out to? How do you know they're coming? So if another agency wanted to do that as well, how did you go about doing that?
We contact them first by phone, and we ask permission even to go to the apartment buildings to drop off flyers or flyers, and we also drop off flyers in doctor's offices.
No. I'm talking about the fairs. The fairs that you go to, that's something that's unique. No one else has mentioned that, and so I'm just curious about how do you get access to be part of one of those fairs? How do you get a table?
Sort of the same process where we try to find who the organizer is, who's the lead agency on that festival, and what's their process for tabling. Is there a fee? What kind of space could we get? And work with them. And we've had a lot of the local Bellevue community festivals be very happy to have us come once they learn what our program is.
Okay.
But usually working with that key person.
Okay.
Yeah.
So are you just advertising PCHP, or are you doing other kindering kinds of things? Is it a combination or just PCHP?
Sometimes it's a combination. Sometimes it's always only ourselves.
Okay.
Only people.
Okay. Okay, Lena, I didn't see anything from you. Were you able to type anything? Oh, maybe it's further down. Sorry, there it is. Okay, sorry, I just saw it. She said, we have flyers and brochures. We ask families for referrals. We also rely heavily on our case managers and greater YWCA staff to refer their clients. We go to lots of YWCA events and community meetings at the various Y shelters to table and talk to families who are in other Y programs. Okay. All righty. I think, did I leave anybody? Lynn, I'm sorry, I didn't talk to you. So Encompass, what do you do?
We do all that. We also go door to door, like at King County Housing Authority neighborhoods. Okay. We have a Habitat for Humanity, and we also just go to places that our families might live, trailer parks, apartment buildings, etc. We also, with Encompass, do referrals from other programs such as Birth to 3 or ECAP, maybe siblings of ECAP children. We also do things like go to the local elementary schools on Meet Your Teacher Day for the kindergartners, because often kindergarten students have young siblings. And then we also have like an alternative high school here that has high school students that are mothers, and they have an on-site daycare. So we go to places like that as well. And then we also just, with our door-to-door, we go to restaurants and places that our families might work, and we ask to talk to the manager and then ask to put flyers in their break rooms, or even speak with their employees when it's not a busy time, more like prep cooking time, as opposed to when the restaurant is up and running.
Okay. So one of the things that you said that was unique, well, not unique, but very few people said it, you and I think Alma talked about, was doing back to schools and going back to school night or parent night. So who do you talk to get access to go and to do that?
I go directly to the secretary of the school, and then they usually kind of give me the person to contact. And so there's usually you have to get permission to be on site, and it's usually just an approval process that you just kind of need to state your business, who you are, and they approve you or not.
Okay. And when you do that, I'm sorry, go ahead.
And that would just be like with the school district, specifically like Snoqualmie Valley School District that has offices here in Snoqualmie, and it was all just done via email.
Oh, okay. All right. And so for these kinds of events, is it your home visitors that's going? Are you doing the work? All of you. Who's doing? Is it everybody, or is it primarily?
I do a lot of that, and then when the home visitors come back, they start doing more of the door-to-door and food banks.
Okay.
Our home visitors. Go ahead. Our home visitors, we have a couple really strong home visitors that do an amazing amount of recruiting. It's like dropping their kids off at school in the morning. They talk to the moms that have young children with them,
Okay.
They go to community events, but it's either Nancy and I or the home visitors or together, you know.
Okay. And Marjorie, you were trying to say? Go ahead.
I was just saying it's mostly Alma and I who do it.
Okay.
And I don't know.
Yeah. Although at the end of the year, we ask the visitors to drop off flyers in the complexes they have families.
Okay.
And we talk to the families to spread the word, and we have so many intakes from word of mouth, from the networking in that way. That's incredible.
Okay. So in regards to the tools, Annie was talking about they have a simplified intake form that they use when they go out. Does anyone else use something like that to gather people's information while you're out?
We just use one from National.
From the national.
Okay. All right. Annie said on summer, coordinators do the outreach, and fall home visitors continue. Okay. And that was Annalie, I'm sorry. All right. Alrighty. So are those things, if you do something that's a little different, you use an augmented form, that might be something you want to share with the rest of the group so they can see how they, how you use it. I don't think my door knocker is for a missed visit. So, trying to think. I had another question. So you all said these are the places that you go. Do you do recruitment of families throughout the year? Like I have fall, winter, spring, and summer, autumn, whatever. Is there a time, like, do you try to make sure your rosters are full by the time you end the program year? Or do you do your heavy recruiting in the summer, hoping to have your rosters full by the fall? Did it make sense?
This is an ongoing activity. Through all the year, through all the program year, we recruit families to put in waiting list, for example. But it's summer when it's the most active.
Okay, summer is most active.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, the way our program in Philly, we were a school district, so we were closed in quotes in the summer. So there was no real I never start recruiting, yeah. So we had wait lists, and Lena said we start a little in the spring, but mostly summer. Yeah, so our goal was to, by the time everybody left in June, to have their rosters complete for the next fall. So that when they came back in September, they pretty much knew who they were going to have. I mean, it still required recruiting, but it wasn't the entire roster of families. So that was our approach to doing it. Does anyone else have any other tools that they do? Like, we bought these cute little books. They cost us maybe 60, 70 cents. They're like the size of a child's hand, and they were animals, and we gave those out when we recruited. And we put our like a label on the back with our information on it for recruiting activities. Does anyone use anything else like that or do anything else like that?
We give out books, and one of the ways that we've done that is when we get donated books where there's not enough identical books to use as a VISM, those can be an outreach book instead. Or if we've used VISM books and then we have some left over, but again, not enough, we can use those as an outreach book. And we really like to be giving people a book or something in their hands if we're doing a table event.
Okay. Yeah. Anyone else? Like maybe did anyone use their first books that they may get, even though they're not quite appropriate, some of them are not appropriate as VISM, but it's something to give into the hands of families, or have you ever thought about it?
I've done water bottles with a label on it. at like events that are outdoors in the summer here in North Bend, like block parties and that kind of thing.
Okay, so water bottles meaning already water in the bottle, or a water bottle to put water in the bottle?
Just a purchased water bottle, like from Costco, and then I've made labels that get taped around it.
Oh, that's a smart idea.
Basically, just has the information.
Okay, oh, that's a neat idea. See, because that's a great thing to put on our list, because that's a really ingenious idea. You go pay $2 for a case of 24, and you're good.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Another thing we did. Go ahead.
When I'm at a table, I kind of, before the table, like when I go to food banks or whatever, I kind of talk to them beforehand, see whatever little free stuff I can get at my table. If I'm going to, so I always sort of have, if I'm doing a table, I hate tables, so I always have something at the table with me. That way it attracts people to come to you, and you can give away something, even if they don't qualify for this for whatever reason.
Right. That's a great idea. Yeah, we used to do something like that in Philly. I had a box, and so we put strips of paper in there, and there was if you got an X, you got one thing, and if it was nothing on it, you automatically got a book, but then you got like a toy. If I had a few toys, and then people could put their hand in and draw out, and we gave out stuff that way, so people felt like they were winning something. Anyone else have any other things that they do that's unique?
Well, I have an idea. We have a donation from toys, and sometimes we have donation from tickets for the zoo or the aquarium. And I think I saw doing that in different agencies, one of the events, and it was a hit. And I think we can get some of those free tickets will be great.
That's a great idea. So those are the kinds of things, if you put together on your recruitment list, we can share. So this is the list I started compiling from the people that sent me their stuff. So Encompass sent me what she wrote, what she did for her recruitment. But again, I wasn't specific about tools, but you can add that to it. The Y wrote theirs, Kendering wrote theirs, and those were the only ones that I received. But if I can get stuff like this, we can put it on our intranet system for people to take a look at what others are doing and learning from one another. So, for instance, again, Southwest's form that they're using, if anyone else has another form. Hannah, you mentioned someone had, I think it was Children's Home, had some kind of tool they use for recruiting or gathering information. I'm not sure. Do you remember that in our conversation? I was looking at my notes and I couldn't find it.
Oh, I don't know.
Okay.
Are you talking about
they have a hotline.
You have
an 800 number?
Oh, okay. I couldn't remember. I was looking through my notes and I couldn't find it.
What it is with our flyer, it has a number, and it'll go to, if you're speaking in Spanish, it'll go to Norma, and then if you're speaking in English, it comes to all of us, and we check it regularly. But it's in our flyers and stuff that we give away. So if folks call that number throughout the year, it goes automatically to a machine that one of us can get.
Oh, that's great. That's great. All right. Any other thoughts or comments or questions around recruiting or that we want to further? Okay, somebody wrote something else. I'm wondering if anyone used local radio or TV spots that are culturally appropriate.
I haven't, but I've used agencies that are from the communities I'm trying to serve. That way, that's kind of where they'll go. So sometimes it could be out of the area for you, but that community usually will go to that agency. Then go and tell that agency that you have a program for this area. So even though they're located in New Holly and I'm working in in the north end, if I know that the people will be going there, I'll go and give my flyer to there and talk to them and let them know. It's almost the same recruitment I do for finding the staff. I'll do the same. Look at the groups that you're working with and then see where they get their services in their own languages. And then if you let them know the times that you're recruiting, they'll actually send people that are in your area to you.
Oh, that's a great idea.
I like that idea.
Elisa has done radio on a Spanish-speaking radio station. I know she's not here today, but I know that that is a tool that she has done. We have used in the South End.
Yeah, and wasn't she on television too?
I think so.
Yeah, she did a TV spot, and I don't know, Telemundo. I think it was, wasn't it? A Telemundo spot.
Yeah.
Marjorie, go ahead. You were saying something. I'm sorry.
No, I was just, I was interested in hearing that someone has tried it. In a previous job where I did outreach, we had a local, we had a very big event, a big dinner we were doing, and we had a local station that was willing to give us spots for the 2 weeks before the event to recruit, just in exchange for saying that they were a media sponsor.
Oh, okay.
And even some places wouldn't even want you to give them anything in exchange. They're just doing it as a community service.
Yeah.
So I'm interested that people have tried this. That worked for us very well with this population, but I didn't know if it'll work with some other populations.
Yeah, when I first started my program in Philly, because we were dealing with a primarily Hispanic community, well, a majority, half of our families are Hispanic, and so a lot of my staff were very, that's their community, that's they're from, so they made connections with the local papers, and they shared information about our program in the local paper, and then we were on, I'm not sure if it was Telemundo or another Spanish TV station. We were able to do that. So you may want to talk to your PR people about doing that for you all. I know some of you have had television coverage or TV newspaper coverage of your graduations. You may want to see if you can get it for your opening as well. So I think the Y was highlighted in the paper at their graduation maybe 2 years ago. Atlantic Street was just highlighted in the paper for their graduation for Best Start for Kids, but they still got media coverage on that. So I don't see why you can't. So, and the other thing, and I won't hold you all for this, but I want you to think, and maybe how we can support. Some of you serve huge, your area of coverage of service delivery is ridiculously large. And how do you keep momentum in all of those communities and keeping people aware of you? That's just something, I just did, I was with Lynn out at her site in North Bend, and her area of coverage is insane. And not to say that all of you don't have big areas too, but I was just slapped in the face when I realized how large an area that her and her team have to cover. So how do you do that? How do you keep the community aware of you? How do you get families to know you? Because again, the ultimate way PCHP works is word of mouth from families. That's your ticket. You don't really have to recruit a lot after a while once families start telling other families about you. But how do you do that when your service area is 5 towns? Any thoughts?
Well, going to all these fairs and social events, and probably you can do something in your own agency.
Okay. Yeah. Alrighty.
It can be really challenging. I mean, the North King is pretty spread out, and but people get their services all over the place. They're not necessarily getting them,
not every service is available in every community, so you really have to get to know where people are going, you know, what are their biggest needs and where are they getting them met at, and try to reach them. You know, that's why we really focus on the food bank and the WIC and that stuff, because that is common things that everybody needs. But just because you're living in Shoreline, you might be getting your services in North Seattle, or you might be getting them in Linwood, and so it can be really challenging.
And my last question for you all, just to think about, is how do you garner a good reputation, or how have you done that, and how do you maintain it as for recruiting families? So was that, like, for those of you, you know, been doing it for a while, that's a hard startup. How did you do that, and what are you doing to maintain that?
Can you repeat, please, Bob?
Part of the way to get families in your program is word of mouth, but also your reputation, to establish that you're a trustworthy entity for people to allow in their home. You know, because a lot of families don't trust, you know, programs overall. So how did you go about in your recruiting building trust and maintaining trust? Go ahead, Ayan, then whoever else was next after Ayan.
Okay. Your reputation is really all you have, so I pretty much take it to heart. Depending, like, as I'm doing, so recruitments at the tables are the hardest for me, because sometimes you're not always sure. You know, people are going to the WIC and they're not. That's why I don't like that one as much. But they're also the most honest, in the sense that folks tell me, wait, I don't want to do this with you. Are you going to come? Or are you going to bring CPS? So they tell you more than they need to. Mm-hmm. And I've always been the type of person on, okay, I don't know what your past experience is, but this is what we do. And I try to kind of, as I'm listening, see if I, like, can catch an address and say, you know, we've actually had some families in that area. Or just, like, you could talk to this group of families. Like, I try to find some kind of similarities. With one, I realized the more that she was talking, the more I actually knew people in the community that she knew. So with me, it was language. I used the dialogue that she was talking to, and I used an elder in my community and said, you know, that person can vouch for me. It's not a person that I even knew from this, but I knew that she needed verification of me entering, because she's had an experience that was traumatic. That woman actually now has every year referred someone to me. Even when she got, like, when they graduated, she's always giving me, and it had a lot to do with not only the way that she came at, like, she was legitimately scared. By the second year, she allowed another home visitor to come in. First year, she was adamant she didn't want anybody but me. Second year, it was a lot different. It was an interesting dynamics. We actually used her video to even pass. When we started with her, she was adamant. She had a lot of things, and it was a healthcare provider that came into her home that brought CPS. It was just, and it was a cultural piece that happened for her, that even though I came from the same culture, she was not willing to even have a conversation. But yet she stopped, and she listened, and she was like, that sounds good, but I know that you're going to trick me into something else.
Wow, okay. Okay. But you were able to then, you threw the net of of the community and drew her in through other connections. Or that's how you...
I definitely did, but then it worked for me, because now she's one of my best salespeople.
Right. Okay. All right, Anna Leah wrote, and I think somebody else is going to talk, but I'm just going to read what Anna Leah wrote. She said, the approach to the family with language, respect, and highlighting the benefits of this program for their child when we offer match in the same culture and language is what opens the relationship. Okay, so that's what she talks about. She wrote in hers. Someone else was saying something. I'm not sure.
Hindering, I just wanted to say something. One of the things that giving me credibility with the community is that from my waiting list previous year, I called them, and then they started to trust that I will call them a year after. And the people start to enroll earlier.
I'm sorry.
That's something that I really call them a year later. The people that I have in waiting list, and that's giving me a lot of credibility with the families.
Okay, so by calling your parents on the wait list, you're bridging credibility because you didn't forget about them.
Exactly. Yeah, sometimes it's a year long.
It's a year long. They've been on the list, but you still reached out to them, and that brings credibility. Okay, that's good. All righty. Does anyone have anything else that they would like to offer to this conversation around recruitment? I don't know. Did it meet your needs? These two topics were in response to your requests at our May meeting. So I want to make sure that we've covered what you said you wanted, and if there is something missing or we need to address. But again, it's as rich as you all put what you put into the pot. Okay, well, no one said anything. So we've gone over the VISM list review. Those of you that sent it, again, I thank you so much. Again, and we talked about recruitment, and you shared. Again, I think there's some more resources that you can share with one another. If you send it to myself or Hannah, they will make their way to the intranet. Again, if there's the new coordinator training that's coming up at the end of August. So if you anyone from your program that needs to be trained, or if there's someone who wants to have a refresher who has been trained, you need to contact me by Monday. And contact me. I won't reach back by Monday, but you can send an email. And then also our fall professional development, which is on September the 22nd. So please hold that off on your calendar and prepare your staff. You'll be getting registration information probably the beginning of September for you and your staff to register, as we've done in the past. Any questions?
And then Pam, can I add too that
Yes.
I know many of you have already responded to an email I sent for the ORS fall training for coordinators. That will be the last of its kind, that it will be kind of leaving you a final toolkit for presenting the assessments with your home visitors, as well as just something to keep for coordinators as far as having a really solid training and understanding of the process for working with ORS and doing all the assessments. So thanks for responding to that, and I'll send out the final date as soon as possible.
Any other announcements, Hannah, other than that?
No, I don't. None.
Okay. All right, ladies. Thank you so much for taking out the time, and I'm giving you 18 minutes, or not 18 minutes, 17 minutes extra that we are cutting early. But I thank you. I hope you enjoy your summer. Please take some time out to take care of yourself. There's only one of you, and make sure you can't give to others what you haven't given to yourself. So make sure you take care of yourself. All right, ladies, have a good one. Talk to you in August. If you need me, I'm available.
Thank you, Pam.
Okay, bye-bye.
Have a great birthday.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Happy birthday.
Bye-bye.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.